a wonderful place existed.
The Athenians called it
The Acropolis.
free expression, ethics, art, philosophy. The Acropolis heralded the democracy. But if I told you the Acropolis has returned. Acropolis News. News from the Acropolis.
Massive sale going on right now over on theacropolisnews.com. Just use promo codes ANN and July 4 in order to get your first month free and 20% off all auto renews, respectively. With the premium subscription, you get access to all the premium content on the site, like this premium article where I went over the validity of time travel and whether or not it's a question of science. Spoiler alert, it's not. But if you want the full details, you can go to theacropolisnews.com/products, purchase a premium subscription, and make sure to type in those coupon codes.
Acropolis News. News from the Acropolis.
And welcome back to the Trevor Report. Let's jump on into it. Remember back in the day, this old school video, by old school I mean 2019, man, how the times have changed, where this channel, Extra Credits, was basically like, if you have Nazis in video games and Nazis symbolism, even if it's for historical purposes and to just merely provide a setting for the game, and you're normalizing Nazis, even if you spend the entire game killing Nazis, you're normalizing like the Nazis and stuff, man. But the most famous part of this was the first 14 seconds. I don't record audio on the Trevor Report because it never works out well when I do. But here it is. Here's how it goes. I'll even narrate it the way he narrates it. There you are, playing the PvP in your World War II shooter, and all of the sudden, you're a Nazi. You didn't ask this. You didn't choose this. Yet there it is. And it's treated no differently than playing as a British soldier. Obviously, this is bonkers on so many levels, but as Solinsky said, make them live to their principles. And, well, people lived according to their principles, and they removed the Nazi symbolism in a lot of games. The main one for me, because it's the one that I play, was they removed the Nazi symbolism from Call of Duty Zombies. And in the setting of Call of Duty Zombies, there is sort of a Cold War between the US, Japan. Like, this is skipping over a lot of detail regarding the Zombies storyline, but I guess I'm going to spoil it a little bit. In the Zombies storyline, it's essentially a Cold War between the US, Japan, and Nazi Germany over this element called 115. It doesn't actually do this in the real world, but in the fictional world of the game, it turns people into zombies and like makes like weapons and stuff. And it's a Cold War between these countries, basically, or at least in the main storyline before the BO2 storyline thing, and changed it in the sort of reboot in Origins. It's a really, really long and complex story. Like, wasn't expecting it to be complex, but it turned out to be very complex. I guess that's what happens when you tell a story through a series of Easter eggs over like a decade and a half. So that's bound to happen. But yeah, but you know what? You can't have any sort of symbolism in your art, because if you have symbolism in your art and it's bad symbolism, then you're normalizing it. Well, this is a thing from Christopher F. Rufo, exclusive. I've obtained leaked video from Disney's upcoming show Baymax, which promotes the transgender flag and the idea that men can have periods to children as young as 2 years old. It's all part of Disney's plan to re-engineer the discourse around kids and sexuality, and as Saul Alinsky says, make them live to their principles. Probably going to get some flack for quoting a communist, but Rules for Radicals is not a communist text. It's just a text about what you should do when your views are essentially being attacked by hegemonic power, and this hegemonic power colonized the art space and are putting in their own. The transgender flag, when you reverse the colors, is the pedo pride flag. It's also the fact that that when you have this flag, it's being proud of going through genital mutilation, whether by chemical castration or the barbaric and evil gender reassignment surgeries. So, again, as Saul Alinsky said, make them live to their principles. This is an ideological symbol. This ideological symbol is bad. Why are you normalizing genital mutilation, Disney? You're not evil, are you? Anyway, let's continue. Biden keeps talking about how he's definitely running for a presidential run for re-election in 2024. The problem is no one believes him, and Democrats don't believe him. Biden irked by Democrats who won't take yes for an answer on 2024. Earlier this month, when Senator Bernie Sanders said he would not challenge President Joe Biden's 2024 run, Biden was so relieved he invited his former rival to dinner at the White House the next night. Biden was eager for signs of loyalty, and they have been few and far between, facing intensifying skepticism about his capacity to run for re-election when he will be nearly 82. Yikes. The president and his top aides have been stung by the questions about his plans, irritated at what they see as a lack of respect from their party and the press. The corporate press is merely the propaganda wing of the Uniparty, so whatever. But let's continue. Speaking of corporate press, we need to focus on keeping a democracy. AOC laughs and says, "I don't know," as Stephen Colbert asks her if she will run for president in 2024 against Biden, and says Supreme Court needs to be put in check. So basically, the Democrats have decided to make an instrument of the government proletariat, and to do so through ideological means, because they're fascists. But people already knew this. The Democrat Party is the only party to have anyone receive fan mail from Hitler. Okay, a lot of icons that people who vote for Democrats have. Margaret Sanger, founder of the eugenics wing of the Democrat Party, Planned Parenthood, received fan mail from Hitler. So yeah, yikes. But anyway, let's continue. CNN editor: whispers of Hillary Clinton 2024 have started. Please run a third time, Hillary. That'd be so funny. Please run a third time. I beg you. But this all begs the question: if people don't like Democrats so much, and a lot of Republicans in the Republican Party are basically just Democrats wearing the R, then why can't we have why don't we have any other parties? Well, according to the Green Party says Democrats use tricks to block them from the ballot. Look, I would never vote for the Green Party because I'm not insane. I'm not a lunatic, but I'm just gonna read because they do have some grievances. Let's say the North Carolina Green Party had its petition to be recognized as an official party in state elections denied in a 3-2 party line vote at the North Carolina State Board of Elections on June 30th. But the NCGP is crying foul, alleging the Elias Law Group, a powerful firm used by National Democrats, which is also successful in getting North Carolina election maps thrown out, use lying, bullying, and harassment in order to influence the decision. Let's actually scroll down to some examples. We have this from a blue check on Twitter, and I'm just gonna say this flat out: America is not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic with democratic institutions, as in we vote for our representatives, and then our representatives adhere to the will of the people. It's ultimately a better system than a direct democracy because a constitutional republic cannot, say, have, 53% of the population vote to kill the Jews, and that's why republics are better than democracies. But anyway, let's continue. Hi, this is a text exchange, by the way, that I'm going to read right now. Hi, Matthew, my name's Drew, and we're texting you because your name was listed on a petition submitted to help place the Green Party and its candidates on the North Carolina ballot in 2022 and 2024. We just wanted to confirm whether you signed this petition. And then it's like, yes, I did. No, I did not sign. Not sure. Wrong number. Reply stop to end. And so the guy replies with 1 because he wants there to be genuine competition against the Uniparty, because why wouldn't you want that? Thank you for confirming. If the Green Party is on the ballot, it will give Republicans a huge advantage that will help them win in North Carolina in 2022 and 2024. In past elections, we've seen that the party takes votes away from Democrats, which helps Republicans win. With abortion rights in the balance, we can't afford to give Republicans more of an advantage. Well, that's because you don't have a right to murder a baby, but whatever, fine. Are you interested in asking the elections board to have your name removed from this petition? Respond 1 for yes, 2 for no. The guy responds 2 for no, and then this questionnaire asks a second time, I understand this seems like a lot of effort, but we want to make sure the Democratic candidates have the best chance to win this November. And this could make a big difference. Would you be willing to have your name removed? 1 for yes, 2 for no. And then he responds, no again. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. What organization is this? To which the text responds, the Democrat Senatorial Campaign Committee. Take all of that with what you will, but, the Green Party, to a certain extent, is basically just Democrat Party-controlled opposition. Because the Democrats are actually really good at making, crafting themselves controlled opposition. And again, all previous Trevor reports linked down below in the description. But let's continue. There's a wing of the Libertarian Party that I'm starting to become more and more welcome to. It's the Mises Caucus, and they're a collection of there's some of the Ayn Rand type Republicans, but there's seems to be I don't know what to call them except national constitutionalists, as in they're anti-war, they're anti-war, anti-lockdown, anti-bailouts, but they seek to try to return the federal government back to what it's supposed to be. And they're not very gun-ho about trying to win a presidential election like previous libertarian parties. They're not like the purely materialist libertarians that we've seen in the past. There's Michael Malice. Don't get me wrong, he's a full-on anarchist or whatever, but he's not a crazy anarchist. But it's just one of those things where it's a nice alternative. It is a it is something that is different ideologically than the Uniparty. Like, don't get me wrong, there are still some Ayn Rand types and there's some neoliberalism in there, but you know, it's better than what we have. And at the end of the day, like I would like this to be more and more prominent. Like, if you're gonna do a third party, again, I'm not gonna tell people who to vote for, but like, if I was voting third party in 2022 and 2024, I'd be doing this. I think it's more worthwhile to reform the Uniparty and then do a bunch of extra things, because until then, until we sort of ununify the Uniparty, we're gonna keep having this. We're gonna keep having this problem, and I don't like that, and I don't like this. They'll just do the Uniparty will just do dirty tricks. Okay, you just hate to, you know, like, look, conservatives, okay, classical liberals, libertarians, all right, everyone's got to read some Saul Alinsky and do some Saul Alinsky stuff onto the Green Party. But anyway, let me hit refresh, because it's been a day. Gas is $5 a gallon. And $5 a gallon is very expensive, and $5 a gallon is really putting a strain on the standard of living for all Americans. Okay, I would say rich and poor alike, but this is only affecting the middle class, the lower middle class, and the working class. This isn't affecting the rich. This isn't affecting the people who can buy a Tesla. This isn't affecting the rich coastal city elites who rely on all of the states in Middle America to bring them their food, their the latest products to consume, things like that. Okay, but you know, we could reduce oil prices in this country, and we could do it very easily, and we can honestly get back on track in a few months' time. But Biden's like, nah, let's not do that, because we got to protect the liberal world order. There's this clip that was going around, and it basically says the liberal. He literally says, we got to do whatever it takes to preserve the liberal world order. It's a Biden staff member. And people were freaking out because, well, it's a thing with Americans. Okay, Americans use the word liberal to mean anything left wing, and don't get me wrong. That's an incredibly based take, saying the Enlightenment is left wing. So true in many such cases. But aside from me being facetious, there's a difference between liberalism and neoliberalism. What they're talking about is the neoliberal world order, where you have an international monetary reserve, the Swiss banking system, and a bunch of U.S. military bases, and then you force other countries basically to use American money in order to pay for things like oil. Basically, and you run into a scenario where America has to flex its muscles and sort of and bomb kids in third world countries. But the national populists, right, the Trump supporters, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Ron DeSantis, the Lauren Boeberts, the Steve Bannons, they don't really like that. And on the left wing side, you get the sort of the Jimmy Dore types, Glenn Greenwald, the Tim Pools, things like that. They don't like that either. And both of these camps, because it's actually an incredibly popular position to take in the United States, why should Americans have to suffer and reduce their standard of living in order to preserve a global hegemony that ultimately, at the end of the day, they never wanted anything to do with? They were just sort of duped into it. So But basically, if you want to know more about neoliberalism and like what they believe, you could read some. You read some Ayn Rand. Would be a pretty good place to start, and a few other people. I forget the sort of the people behind the ideology of neoliberalism. But Ayn Rand is a good one to start with. But anyway, let's sort of end on a high note or a low note. I don't know. It doesn't really affect me. I don't have TikTok. I do post reels on Instagram and Getter Visions or whatever, but like those are basically TikTok alternatives that don't steal my data. Or I guess they don't steal as much of my data. Instagram is a part of like Facebook and Meta or whatever. But FCC commissioner calls on Google and Apple to ban TikTok app. A member of the Federal Communications Commission is calling Apple and Google to remove TikTok from their app stores over concerns that user data from the widely popular social media platform is being accessed by China. So basically, the U.S. government is basically like, okay, so we have these deals with Mark Zuckerberg over on Meta and Susan Wojcicki over on YouTube and with the CEO of Apple and Google and stuff like that in order to take data and then give it. And then we, the U.S. government, acquire that data, and then we use that data unethically, right? And then China is like, okay, so let's make this super popular social media app where we can collect data unethically, and the U.S. is like, how dare you do this thing that we're doing? Oh man, how dare you do this thing that we're in fact doing? If collecting data is a national security concern and bad, then just stop and just end the collection of data all across the board. It'd be super easy to do, but but because we have to preserve the neoliberal world order. Well, when China does it, it's terrible. When the U.S. does it, it's fine, man. It's totally fine. But TikTok commits to changes to avoid App Store ban. I'm sure they are, and I'm sure they will definitely fix those problems. If you're listening to this on Spotify, I was doing air quotes because I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're just going to pretend to do it, and nothing's going to happen because at the end of the day, TikTok has like 1 billion active users. Like it's insane how huge TikTok is. So I don't really think anything's gonna come of it, but I'll watch it for the next time, and but I don't think anything's gonna happen. But anyway, in the meantime, my name is Trevor Brown. You just watched the Trevor Report. Do click the Linktree down below in the description that I was forced to make because Linktree banned my Linktree, so I made my new one down below in the description. All of you brilliant viewers out there, my name is Trevor Brown. I am the editor-in-chief of Acropolis News Network because I can give myself whatever name and title I want because I own it. You could go to theacropolisnews.com, or you could go to This Just Trevor on whatever Liberty platform is your choice. Except for the ones I'm not on because I haven't seen them pretty much.
Acropolis News. News from the Acropolis.